Hello and welcome to my channel. On this channel I'll talk about just Disney park stuff, and let's get into my first video. I love Disney California Adventure, and so I thought I'd just talk about some kind of small-ish changes that I would make to it. And I have a bigger video on my main channel, Pixar Parker, but anyway, I want to start with the changes that I would make to Hollywoodland, and there are two things that I would probably do to Hollywoodland, because it's quite the flawed land, and also, like, half of it's being taken off for Avatar, so it's kind of clear that Disney should probably do something with Hollywoodland before it's too late. And again, I have a second idea that's a much bigger idea, but let's get into my smaller fixes that I would make to Hollywoodland. First off, I would replace the Disney Junior Dance Party with some kind of dark ride, and preferably a dark ride themed to something like Mary Poppins, or maybe even, and I have a whole video planned about this, but a revival of the Great Movie Ride also could potentially fit, but it's a lot. The Disney Junior Dance Party building is a pretty small space, so a small Mary Poppins dark ride would be kind of fun, and also Mary Poppins just kind of fit with Hollywoodland. Also, this is a very small change. I would give the Disney Animation Building, I would give it a different facade that looks like the actual Disney Animation Building in California, kind of like what they're doing at Hollywood Studios, for the Magic Disney Animation. So, yeah, just a different facade, but the interior and everything inside would stay the same. But just, especially if we're going for, like, the 1930s Hollywood vibe that Hollywoodland currently has, so, yeah. Next up is, it's something everybody wants. Disney, please, just bring back Muppet Vision 3D to California Adventure. I've never gotten a chance to see it in person, because I've never gone to the Walt Disney World Resort, and I was born after Muppet Vision closed, but bring it back to the Sunset Showcase Theater. Honestly, since they're probably gonna have to reroute the exit of PhilharMagic, this would be the perfect chance to put a new show inside of the Sunset Showcase Theater. And Muppet Vision is there, because everybody wants Muppet Vision back, and just, yeah, it works. And, yeah, this is something they're probably going to do. Next, I would replace the Hyperion Theater, and this is the last small Hollywood change I would make. I would replace the Hyperion Theater with the Monsters, Inc. door coaster. I feel like a lot of us are going to miss, Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue, before it closes, and when it closes, but I would replace the Hyperion Theater with either the revitalized Great Movie Ride I talked about earlier, or the Monsters, Inc. door coaster. Just in my opinion, Monsters, Inc. and Hollywoodland go hand in hand. It's probably just nostalgia for Mike and Sully to the Rescue, but, yeah. I feel like replacing the Hyperion with some kind of ride, would be great, especially since they're not using the Hyperion at all. My next idea is also about Monsters, Inc., and that is just gut out Hollywood Boulevard. Since the backlot's being replaced by Avatar, just get rid of Hollywood Boulevard and make it Monstropolis. They're already adding Monstropolis to Hollywood Studios, and so I feel like now would be the perfect time to put Monstropolis in a DCA. Obviously, the Hyperion Theater would be replaced by the Monsters, Inc. door coaster as, like, the central attraction. I would make the Sunset Showcase PhilharMagic Theater become Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor from Florida. And I would make the Disney Animation Building an interactive Monsters University themed dark ride. And I would add a small roller coaster themed to Fearco to it. And I'd also turn award wieners into Harryhausen's. So, yeah. Those are my Hollywoodland change ideas. And if the Monstropolis idea were to happen, you're probably thinking, well, then what would happen to the idea of Hollywoodland? Because Hollywoodland is so central to DCA, and it's also one of the lands that is kind of holding the whole California theme together. Well, what I would do is I would replace Buena Vista Street with Hollywoodland, and I would make the sign of, like, Oswald's and the Walt statue. I would fill that all in, and I would make it the Great Disney Movie Ride, the revitalized version of the Great Movie Ride I talked about earlier, which, again, I will make a separate video about going into specifics, but this ride would take you through classic and iconic Disney movies. And yeah, you could still keep the Los Angeles theme, and then I would also replace this side with like Fiddler Fiddler Practical Cafe with Muppet Vision. And then I would also make a little bit, it would kind of be a transition area from Hollywoodland, and I would add a Lilo and Stitch roller coaster, replacing the bathrooms and shops and stuff near Soarin'. That's a smaller idea, but Muppet Vision definitely to come back in this new land. It's something I would definitely put. And then, replacing the Carthy Circle, I would have the Magic of Disney Animation, and it would basically be the same, as it currently is, and maybe a little bit smaller because of the Carthy Circle thing, but yeah, that's how I would keep Hollywoodland in the park if they were to do the Monstropolis idea. Now let's move on to Avengers Campus, where I'd kind of replace, or do something with the Pym Test Kitchen, still theme it to, like, Ant-Man, maybe a show or a small ride, and so, yeah, you could add some of the rides from the other Avengers campuses throughout the world, but yeah, I wouldn't do that much to Avengers Campus, because we are already getting those two big rides, but yeah, definitely some kind of Ant-Man attraction in, like, maybe the Pym Test Kitchen building, and so, yeah, it could also be a nice reference to A Bug's Land before it, where you shrink down to the size of a bug as well, but there's something a little bit more, drastic that I would do to Avengers Campus, and that is replace Web Slingers, because, well, it's a fun ride, but it's not the best ride, and Toy Story Mania is certainly better, but I would replace it with some kind of Black Panther ride, because I know that they were thinking about doing a Black Panther ride in Avengers Campus, and I say bring that back and have it replace Web Slingers. Now let's talk about San Francisco Square, where I would add 2 rides. Like, this land really it needs rides. I would add a Big Hero 6 e-ticket, so whether that be a Trackless Dark Ride or a roller coaster, and I would add some kind of spinner ride, maybe similar to the Happy Ride on Baymax at, Tokyo Disneyland. Next up is Pixar Pier, and what I really want to do is just add more Pixar IP to Pixar Pier, because right now there's only just Toy Story and The Incredibles and Inside Out, with actual rides, and so what I would do is I would replace the Games of the Board, or the back of the Games of the Boardwalk, the Pixar Promenade, and the Bing Bong Suite stuff, as well as the backstage area behind the Pixar Promenade, and make it an inside-out attraction, preferably like a Trackless Dark Ride or a family-friendly roller coaster, the Emotional Roller Coaster, and then I would make an inside-out Emotional Whirlwind an up balloon spinner, like, attraction. So that's what I would do to the main area of Pixar Pier. I would also expand Pixar Pier into the Paradise Garden Park area. I would retheme Goofy's Sky School to a Luca bike coaster style attraction, and it wouldn't be that hard, but yeah, replacing Goofy's Sky School with something themed to Luca I think would be really good. And then the obvious thing is we get retheme Jumpin' Jellyfish to Finding Nemo. That's definitely something I would do. I would retheme Golden Zephyr to either Elemental or WALL-E. And then, I know this is kind of hypocritical because I said I wanted more Pixar IP, but I would retheme The Little Mermaid to Finding Nemo. And yeah, you could use the same ride system, you just have to dress up some of the scenes to be Nemo. And then I would replace the Wine County Terracotta with a version of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and it could kind of be in its own little separate area of Pixar Pier, but still, part of Pixar Pier. So, yeah, and then I would also retheme the Silly Symphony Swings to Pixar Shorts, making them the Pixar Short Swings. So those are the updates that I would make to Disney California Adventure. I like the smaller updates instead of, like, completely gutting out the park. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and have a great day, everyone. And also, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy my videos. Goodbye.